Welcome to your class today. Today in our class, we are going to start seated. We have a short sequence after we do our initial breathing focus. We have a short sequence where we use the 6 movements of our spine. Then we go straight into standing up. We'll go through some sun salutations. And then the focus of our class today is short little sequences that work with each of the warrior poses, the warrior postures in our yoga practice. Virabhadrasana, so we have warrior 1, 2, and 3. And we'll have a little sequence that incorporates each of these warrior poses. Let's start today sitting in a way that is comfortable for you. It doesn't need to look like how I'm sitting. You can sit on a chair or sit with your feet tucked under, just a way that is comfortable for you. You can stretch your legs out or lean against a wall. You can rest your hands on your legs or palms one on top of the other. And then when you're settled, begin by taking a deep breath in through your nose and release that breath with a sigh through your mouth. You can do that one more time if you want to. You can close your eyes down. Take a deep breath in and a long sigh out through your mouth. And then with your eyes closed, or if you prefer to keep them open, lower your gaze and settle your gaze on one point in front of you, far in front of you. And just start to pay attention to your breathing. Begin to observe your breath. You don't even need to make any changes with your breath just now. Just observe how your body is breathing at the moment. How your breathing will probably have something to do with what you were doing just before you started your practice. If you rushed, breathing a bit more quickly. If you've been sitting down quite a lot, you may feel it more up high in the chest. But for everyone, it will be different. So connecting with your breath, how it feels in your body at the moment. And now begin to consciously shape your breath. Slow your breath down. We're slowing, smoothing, evening out our breath. Begin to deepen your inhalation and lengthen your exhalation. And create the space in your torso for this to happen. Have this feeling of expansion around the abdomen and the rib cage, maybe upper chest lifts. This feeling of contraction as you breathe out. You can imagine your torso like a balloon, so the expansion is in all directions at the same time, not just one way forwards. And see if you can have a continuous breath, so there's no gaps in the breath. Smooth, slow, even inhalation, which transitions seamlessly into a smooth exhalation. It's like you're breathing around a circle. And there's that point at the top and at the bottom of the circle where the breath becomes neither an inhalation nor an exhalation nor a pause. That seamless transition. Try to keep this feeling quite effortless. So you're not feeling like this is a strain. And if you are, adjust it so that it feels comfortable in your body. And depending on where you are in your day or what you've been doing or what you need to do later, your mind may feel quite busy. There may be a particular quality to the thoughts in your mind. And it's difficult to stop thinking because thinking is what our minds do, but we can give our mind something to concentrate on. Just focusing on your breath, the smooth, slow, continuous inhalation into exhalation. So now we are going to take this circle of breath and split it down the middle and create a little gap between the top of the inhalation and the beginning of the exhalation. And same at the bottom, from exhalation to inhalation. You'll breathe your inhalation around the side of the circle, and then pause. And then breathe your exhalation down the other side of the circle, which is now a half circle. Pause, and then begin your inhalation again. Notice the quality, the feel in that pause, the stillness in the pause. The pause could be half a second, it could be 10 seconds. Breathing with your whole body, and especially the feeling of expansion in the belly, the rib cage, upper chest. Smooth, long exhalation. So right now, all that there is sitting, breathing, and awareness of that breathing. Now let yourself come back into a very comfortable, more natural rhythm of breathing. But notice you have a heightened awareness of your breath. And we'll try to maintain that throughout our practice. Generally, in our yoga practice, we are either moving with our breath, or if we're holding our body in a particular shape, we are maintaining our awareness of our breath. So however you are seated, bring your arms alongside your body, palms facing up. And on your inhalation, slowly lift your arms up. Very simple movement, but it starts to get us thinking about what's going on in our body. Your exhale brings the hands back down again. Might be going faster or slower than me. Inhale, arms reach up above your head. You might come to here, you might bring the palms together. It's entirely up to you. Exhale, hands coming back down again. If we have our mind in a different place, this is just a very simple movement of arms up and down. But if we are starting to bring our attention to what we feel in our body, suddenly maybe we notice, oh, when I lift my arm, that's the point where I start to feel something here. Just noticing what's going on. And exhale, hands come back down again. This time, interlace your fingers behind your back or have the arms parallel. Inhale to squeeze the shoulder blades together, high belly. Lift the upper chest, lift the chin. And exhale to relax. Cat on your lap is optional. Inhale again, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift your chest, lift your chin. And exhale to relax. Rest left hand on your cat or on your leg. Right hand out to the side. Take a deep breath in and sit up tall. And then as you breathe out, take the back of your right hand slightly back. Now I'm not twisting yet. You could have your hand further down or further up. Try them out. There might be a different angle of arm that makes you have an interesting sensation here. Next exhalation, arm sweeps across your body. You can use your left hand to support the right. On your inhale, lift your right shoulder up. And as you exhale, take your right shoulder down. So really all I wanted you to do was take your shoulder down, but sometimes it's hard to find a small movement and it's easier to do a big movement. So by taking it hugely in the other direction, then you have somewhere to go as you exhale. Take your right hand behind your left shoulder. And then release that arm. Now the left hand out to the side, sit up tall. Left hand reaches slightly behind you. These opening movements of our class today are really, they will be focused on the spine, but also the shoulders. A little bit will go into the neck. Counteract sitting down if you have a job that requires you to sit down a lot. And then take the arm across your body. You can use your right hand to support your left. Again, inhale to lift your left shoulder up, and exhale, left shoulder down. And take your left shoulder over you. Take that again, your left hand over your right shoulder. And then release. Let your hands rest on the ground beside you. On your inhale, lift your shoulders up to your ears. You could hold your breath here. Squeeze the tops of the shoulder blades together. And as you exhale, pull the shoulder blades down your back. I am making this a big movement just so that there's something to look at, but this could be quite a subtle movement for you. Depends how it feels in your body. Again, inhale to lift the shoulders up. Hold your breath and squeeze the tops of the shoulder blades together. Exhale, pull the shoulder blades down your back. Now as you inhale, balloon out your rib cage. Again, hold your breath. This time, squeeze the middle parts of your shoulder blades together. And as you exhale, pull the shoulder blades down your back. One more of those. Inhale, big breath in. Hold your breath and squeeze the middle part of the shoulder blades together. And exhale, pull the shoulder blades down your back. There's really not much to look at, but possibly you feel something when you're doing it. Make your hands into a fist and start to make circles with your wrists in one direction and then the other direction. Be as fast or as slow, as big or as small a movement. Then bring the palms together in the center of your chest, and you can start to lift the elbows out to the side, pressing right fingers into left, left fingers into right. And then with the fingers pointing back up again, separate your hands. Press the hands out to the side as if you're holding the walls out to the side. Curl your fingers into your palms on the outside, so you're making a fist again. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, drop the knuckles down towards the ground. Especially for those of you who do a lot of typing at a computer during the day. Release the hands, palms facing forward. This time the thumb tucks on the inside. Curl your fingers around your thumb. Again, big breath in. This time as if you're pouring a jug from each hand. And then release. Rest your left hand on the ground beside you. If you're sitting on a chair, you can hold your right hand under the seat of the chair. And relax your left ear towards your left shoulder. Right hand can reach diagonally away, or you could sit on that hand. Remember, if you're sitting on a chair, you're holding the underside of the chair. So this is not like a stretch. You're not trying to pull your ear towards your shoulder, kind of letting your head hang out there. So here we're looking for a feeling of release in the side of the neck. This can feel quite intense. If that's the case for you, bring yourself a little more upright and semi-support your head with your hand. Now from here, we're all going to take left hand to left cheek, lift your head back up again. Interlace your fingers behind your head. Press the back of your head into your hands, hands into your head. And then release. Do the same thing the other side. Now the right hand is on the ground behind you, or you're holding underneath the left side of your chair. Relax right ear to right shoulder. If you're sitting on the ground, that left hand can reach diagonally away from you. And again, if this is feeling quite intense for the side of the neck, you can semi-support your head with your hand on your cheek. And then with everyone's hand on the cheek, bring your head back upright again. This time, the heels of your hands against your brow, press your brow into your hands, hands into your brow. And release. And again, hands as a fist under the chin. Press your chin to your hands, hands to your chin, and your tongue, press it to the roof of your mouth. So all of those can be helpful if we spend a lot of our time with our heads forward, if we're on our phones or on computers. You can get that strain down the back of the neck up into the bottom of your head, just kind of this muscle here, or feelings at the front here. And everything we're doing sitting down are things that you can take 5 minutes during your day just to go through. And you know this is recorded, you could always just do this part of the class. Now take your hands onto your knees. On your inhalation, reach your middle part of your torso forward, so you're trying to arch your back. Lift your chest, lift your chin. And then as you exhale, round your back. Imagine someone is holding you around the waist, pulling you back, but you're holding onto your knees. Tailbone tucks under and chin comes towards your chest. Again, inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, center of your torso reaches forward, lift the chest, lift the chin. And exhale, round your back. Sit up tall again. If you've been sitting cross-legged for some time, you might want to try crossing the legs the other way. From here, take your left hand outside your right leg, right hand behind. Inhale to sit up tall. Exhale, spinal twist to the right. On your exhalation, come out of the twist, but keep that left hand where it is and take the right arm across, crossing one elbow over the other. So either the hands will come to the shoulders or the palms will come together, or anywhere in between that. So anywhere on this path. That will just depend what's going on, your body shape, what goes on around your shoulders. See what's going on with that right shoulder. Can you again drop the right shoulder down? On your inhale, lift the elbows slightly up. And exhale, elbows down. Release the arms, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Hello. Right hand outside the left knee, left hand behind you. Inhale, sit up tall. I like to use my fingertips on the ground, pressing the fingertips down because that helps me lengthen a little bit better. That might be the same for you, or you may prefer hand flat. Your exhale is spinal twist to the left. Then on an exhalation, come out of the twist, keep that right hand where it is, take the left arm over, elbows one on top of the other. Palms come towards each other, so it could be palms together or hands on the shoulders. Inhale, elbows lift up a little, and exhale, elbows down. And release. One more here. So we've already moved our spine in flexion, extension, twist, twist. So there's two more. Side bend either side. Right hand to the ground. On your inhale, reach the left hand up to the ceiling. Exhale, side bend to the right. Now, just because my hand is overhead doesn't mean your hand needs to be overhead. You could have your arm in a different place. You could even take your hand behind your head and Think about the elbow reaching up to the ceiling. Bring your attention to this left side of the body. See if you can send the breath there, this feeling of expansion on the left side of the body. On your inhalation, come back up again. We'll swap to the other side. But before you do that, just notice if there's a difference in how one side feels to how the other side feels. And now let's try to bring a bit of balance to that. Inhale, right arm reaches up, and exhale, side bend to the left. When we do something on right side and the left side, inevitably it feels different because we use the different sides of our bodies for different repetitive tasks or activities. If you play football, probably you have a preferred foot to kick. If you drive, your seatbelt usually goes from one shoulder to the other, usually in the same way. If you play golf, probably don't alternate in how you take the swing. On your inhalation, come back up again and exhale, relax. Just notice, does it still feel quite different, or is there more a feeling of balance between the sides? From here, we're going to come all the way up to standing, and we'll come into our sun salutations for today. Sun salutations today, we will be coming into a lunge, but not lifting our arms up today. So I'm just going to show you from here, we'll be lunging back. I'm going to suggest you take quite a big lunge, drop the knee down, untuck the toes, and the fingertips or the palms on the ground. And we're going to try to reach the chest forward in this position. Doesn't need to look how I'm looking. If you have a chair, you might like to put your hands on the chair and then do the action in this way. If there's a wall nearby, the same. So coming to the top of your space, on your inhalation, reach your arms above your head, take the weight to the balls of the feet and lift your heels up. Exhale, heels come back down, arms come down towards the ground, forward fold. Hands to shins or thighs, inhale for a halfway lift, where you bring your shoulders roughly to the same height as your hips. Next exhalation, hands back down towards the ground. Bend your knees so you can reach the ground. Inhale to step the right foot back. You could take this in a few movements back. Drop the right knee down, untuck the toes. And then reach the chest forward. Sometimes just moving the knee a little to the side, so it's more under your arm than under your chest, can create a bit of space for this. On your next exhalation, tuck the right toes under and either stepping the left leg back into this kind of extended tabletop position or into your plank position, plank with any number of knees on the ground. Press the floor away from you, like you're trying to lift your body away from the floor. And on your next exhalation, lower all the way down to the ground. Now this could be thighs, hips, belly, chest down, or you could be taking the forearms down and then lowering the rest of your body, or you could be taking the whole body down in a oneer. Hands a little in front of the shoulders. Inhale to peel upper chest off the ground. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, coming up to tabletop position. Tuck your toes. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Say this quite a lot in classes. You don't have to accept the same place, the first place that you end up in a posture. So if you want to adjust the feet, bring them closer, further away, make them wider, bend your knees. Just play around with it until you find a place that feels good for you. Drop your knees back down to the ground. On your inhalation, take a big step forward with the right foot. Again, reach the chest forward. Exhale, left foot comes forward, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way back up to standing. And exhale, relax. Inhale, arms reach up. Weight into the balls of the feet, and then lift your heels. Your exhalation, lower the heels down and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on the shins or the thighs. Exhale, hands dangle back down towards the ground, but bend your knees so you can reach the floor. Inhale, left foot steps back, left knee down, chest reaches forward, look forward. Your next exhale, step back into plank, any variation thereof. Take a big inhale, and on your next exhalation, lower yourself down to the ground. Hands a little in front of the shoulders. Inhale, peel the upper chest off the ground. Exhale, lower down, and transition back into downward facing dog. Again, make your adjustments. Find the place that feels good. Might not be there at all, but find the place where you can breathe. Drop the knees back down to the ground. Next inhale, steps the left foot forward. Remember, you can always use your hands to help your foot forward. It doesn't need to be in one big step forward. Reach the chest forward, look forward. Your next exhale, right foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way back up to standing. And exhale, hands down. We'll do this without my chat in between. So I'll give slightly less instructions. We'll do one more time each side. Inhale, arms up, lift the heels. Exhale, heels down, forward fold. Inhale, right foot back, right knee down. Reach your chest forward, look forward. Next exhale, step back to plank. Inhale to press the floor away from you. And exhale to lower yourself down to the ground. Inhale, low cobra, just the upper chest off the ground. Exhale, transition back to downward facing dog. Could be over a few breaths, that. Knees back down to the floor. Inhale, step your right foot forward. Exhale, left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, come back up to standing. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, arms up. Lift the heels. Exhale, heels down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, bend your knees. Inhale, left leg back, knee down, look forward. Next exhale, back to plank. Inhale to press the floor away from you, and exhale, lower down to the ground. Inhale, lifting upper chest. Exhale, transition back to downward facing dog. Knees back down to the ground. Inhale, left foot steps forward, look forward. And exhale, right foot forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, come back up to standing. Exhale, hands down. So we're coming into our three little mini sequences. The first one brings us to Veerabhadrasana Warrior One. the second to Virabhadrasana 2, and the third to Virabhadrasana 3. There's a little bit of balancing involved for the first one and the third one. So if you like to have a bit of support, use either the wall or a chair, and it doesn't make it any less if you use support, because then you can focus on what's going on in the posture without having to worry about balance. So you can bring the palms together, or you can have hands on your support. Take the weight into the left foot, and on your inhalation, lift your right heel. So it could be that you're resting the toes on the ground, or you lift your knee up. Little bend into your left knee, and then step your right foot back. We're going to start in a high lunge position, which means only the toes are on the ground. High lunge, the hips can be quite high. You don't have to be bending, it doesn't need to be in a super deep lunge. Find a place that it kind of feels okay to be in. Here, take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, drop your knee down towards the ground, but not touching the ground. And as you do that, tuck the tailbone down. So we're trying to get this feeling in the front of the right thigh. It may be in other places for you. It could be around the glutes or the hamstrings, or you might be feeling more in the shin, around the ankle. And your inhalation, lift the hips back up, straighten out the right leg. And then we're reversing, we're coming back from where we came. So reach your body forward, inhale, lift the right knee back up, and exhale, foot down. Still working on the same leg. Again, weight into left foot. Inhale, either lifting the knee up or having the toes on the ground for a bit of balance support. Next time you exhale, bend your left knee again, step the right foot back. This time the foot is going to come flat to the ground. It will be slightly turned out, maybe 60-degree angle. Virabhadrasana 1, the hip bones are roughly pointing forwards, but we're all a bit different. This area is built differently for different people, so it could feel better to have it ever so slightly on a diagonal. We're not completely opening it, but if having them lined up with the front of your space is a bit tweaky for your back, experiment with just opening it a little bit towards the front diagonal. Notice if there's the outer edge of that back foot is lifting and kind of buckling your knee. Can you lift the inside of the right leg and press into the outer edge of the right foot? Lift your arms up to the ceiling. So, me included, there's a tendency for some people to really arch the back here. So see how it feels to take the bottom of your ribcage and your lower belly and try to reach them towards each other. This is a very small action. I'm kind of trying to exaggerate it so you can see something on the screen. But this is a kind of a subtle movement. Bring the palms together in the center of your chest. Reach your torso forward. Inhale again, lift the right knee up. And exhale, foot back down. We'll do that on the other side as well. Feel the weight come into the right foot. Lift your left heel or knee. And then exhale, step the left foot back, starting in a high lunge position. Now, notice if when you stepped back, you kind of crossed your legs, sort of looking like this. So you might want to kind of separate the feet a little bit. Can give a bit more stability. Whoops. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, drop that left knee down towards the ground. At the same time, tuck the tailbone down. So we're not bringing the knee touching the ground. It's just going down in that general direction. Coming back up again. Reach your chest forward. Inhale, lift the left knee back up again. And exhale, left foot down. Same thing again. Same again on your left foot. Take weight into the right foot. lift the left heel again, either lift the knee or toes on the ground. And then step the left foot back. This time the foot is flat on the ground. Take a moment to work out what's going on with your hip bones, whether it feels better to pull the right hip bone back, so they're kind of lined up with the front, or whether actually for you it feels better slightly on a diagonal. Reach the arms up to the ceiling. See if you can bring the lower belly and the lower rib cage slightly towards each other. Just notice what that does if you do that. Palms come back together again. Reach your chest forward. Inhale, either keeping the toes connected or lift the knee up. And then exhale, foot comes back down. Did I mention that Veerabhadrasana 1 was this position, by the way? Probably didn't mention that. So now we're going into Veerabhadrasana 2. And again, it's a one knee bending, one leg stretching, but this time the legs are open to the side. So you can step or toe heel or jump the feet wide. Turn your right toes out, turn the left toes slightly in. And again, you know, if you read about this pose, it's hip bones lined up with the long edge of the mat. But again, everybody's built a bit differently. So for many people, turning the hips ever so slightly diagonally towards the right can feel better. On your inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, bend the right knee, arms open out to the side. And you can turn your head to look at your right hand. Just notice how it feels when you look straight and how it feels when you look to the side. Maybe there's an extra sensation that appears around your left arm or shoulder. Again, like we did in our Virabhadrasana 1, if you notice the outer edge of that left foot lifting, see if you can press into it by lifting the inside left leg. That's really hard to do. See if it feels better to do it bringing the foot closer, feet closer, I should say. Interesting thing. Sometimes we have a feeling that the left arm is looking a particular way, if it's like, for example, in line with the shoulder. And then we look at our arm and it's down here somewhere. So just notice if your thought was that the arm was here, but actually it was here or here. Bend your right arm, rest your right forearm on your right thigh. Left hand reaches up towards the ceiling, or turning the palm, reach your arm up and overhead. Choose the one that feels better. Any tweakiness around the shoulder, it might even feel better to reach it diagonally down, or keep your hand on your waist. On your inhalation, lift your body back up again. And exhale, straighten the leg, arms down. Turn those right toes in, turn the left toes out. Inhale, arms reach up to the ceiling. Exhale, bend the left knee, arms open out to the side. Sometimes we have a tendency, because we're doing left side, that we reach towards the left. See if you can have your spine kind of one straight line. So there's an equal reaching towards the right as there is towards the left. Again, you're looking towards that left hand. Find your one steady gaze point. So we're always seeking comfort and steadiness in the poses in terms of the feelings in our body, even if it's challenging, the thought process in our minds. So if we're really like, oh my God, how much longer do I have to be here? Oh, this is awful. Oh, I can never do this side. Or if our mind can be focused on sensations and be with our breath. And our breath is also an indicator. if we can keep the steadiness of the breath. If we're holding our breath or breathing in a very like sucking in the breath, maybe we need to adjust it slightly, easing back, changing, or even coming out of the pose. Bend your left arm, rest it on your thigh. Right hand reaches up to the ceiling or up and overhead. Your inhalation, come back up again. Exhale, straighten the leg, arms down. Turn those left toes in and bring your feet back together. So Veerabhadrasana 1 is lunging position, one leg bent, one leg stretched, the hips roughly facing forward. Virabhadrasana 2, again, one leg bent, one leg stretched, but this time they're out to the side. And Virabhadrasana 3, both legs straight, it's a balance. So we'll be taking the weight into one leg and the other leg lifts up behind us. Now, we can have the arms reaching forward, or we can bring the palms together, or we can reach the arms behind us. And I'm going to give you the options of all three of those. We'll do this a couple of times. So if you would like to use a chair here, and using the seat of your chair actually to support your balance, where you're in this position, your palms are flat, can feel really good. Or if you want to practice having the arms overhead, having the wall in front of you like this to support can also feel great. Otherwise, the palms are in the center of your chest. Both feet flat on the ground. Start with balance in both feet, little squeeze the muscles around the sit bones. And then start to take the weight into your left foot. Lift the right heel. If you want to, you can lift the right knee up. Take a big breath in. As you breathe out, right foot reaches back and the chest reaches forward. So however amount the foot lifts is how much the body goes forward. You could be here. You could be here. Wherever you are, there is a relationship between the top of the body and the bottom of your feet. So this two-way reaching, not just leg lifting, but the chest also reaching forward. Got support, you've got your wall, maybe the hands are on the wall or on the seat of the chair. Steady breath. On your inhalation, come back upright. If you want to, you can lift the knee up to the chest. Exhale, foot comes back down. Going to do that side one more time. This time, I'm going to give you the option of the arms reaching back behind you, squeezing the shoulder blades together. That kind of helps to have the chest reaching forward somewhat. Again, inhale, weight into the left foot, lift the right heel, could have the knee up. Exhale, foot reaches back behind you. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades together, chest reaches forward. Hands reaching back, foot reaching back, chest reaching forward. You decide how high you lift your leg or not. On your inhalation, come back upright again. And exhale, foot down. If you're feeling wobbly, if you wobbled out of the posture, it's not the end of the world. It's just standing on one leg. We can have a real narrative in the mind about that. And that's part of our practice, is noticing if those same thought processes are coming up. It's like, oh yeah, this one again. So same thing on the other side, palms together or getting ready to use your support. Take the weight into the right foot, lift the left heel or lift your left knee up. On your next exhale, foot reaches back, chest reaches forward. You are deciding how high you lift. Find a steady gaze point. Look at something that's not moving. And just feel what's happening in your body as you're in this balance. Balance means you have more weight in one foot. So just because your hands are on the wall or on the chair doesn't make it anything less. On your inhalation, come back upright again. And exhale, foot down. One more time, this time with the option of the arms reaching back, shoulder blades coming towards each other. Inhale, lift your knee or lift it up to the heel. Exhale, foot back, chest forward. And on your inhalation, come back upright again. And exhale, foot down. Legs, little shake. Kind of prepared yourself nicely for coming into Vrikshasana or tree pose. We did the wide leg poses where you had to externally rotate the legs, and you've practiced balancing. So you've kind of got the muscles that stabilize us in balances a bit, ready to go. So feet together. Either hand on your support on the left side or palms together. Take weight into left foot. Turn the right leg out. This is tree pose. This is Vrikshasana. The toes are on the ground. Or foot against inside lower leg. Or foot against inside upper leg. It really doesn't matter which one of these you choose. If you would like to, you can lift your arms above your head. You can think of it, it's the arms in our Warrior One. It's the leg turned out of our Warrior Two. And it's the balance of our Warrior Three. Bring your arms back down again if you've lifted them, and then take that right knee to face forward. And then foot comes back down to the ground. Do the same thing on the other side. Feel weight coming into the right foot, lightening the left. Turn that left leg out. Again, your foot can be inside upper leg, inside lower leg, or the toes on the ground. Try to squeeze the muscles around your sit bones and just notice if the right hip is moving out to the side here, can you press it back in again? You're making it support you in your posture. You have the option of the arms up as well. Steady gaze point. Smooth and steady breath. Noticing what you feel where in your body. And there's no right or wrong. I'm supposed to feel this here. I'm not supposed to feel that there. For everyone, it's different. Hands come back down again. Point the left knee forward. And then bring foot back down. Come back to the top of your space. On your inhalation, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold, hands dangle down towards the ground. You could take your feet a bit wider here. You can bend your knees if you would like. Take a few extra breaths here. And then bend your knees a little more so that you can reach the floor. Bring yourself into tabletop position. And send hips back towards the heels, arms down, head down, and breathe. This is not a comfortable position for everyone. So if that's the case for you, lift your hips a little higher, walk the forearms forward. Or flip this position over, so you're doing roughly the same thing lying on your back, hugging the knees in towards your chest. So choose the option that feels nice today. If you're lying on your back with your knees hugged to your chest, stay as you are. We're going to join you. So if you were in Balasana, sitting on your heels, you can now come to sit on the ground and then come to lie down. So lie on your back. You can bring the feet flat to the ground, the knees are bent. Rest your hands on your belly and breathe deeply into your belly. We're lying in a way that has a neutral position for our spine, and we're not required to do a whole lot of effort with our backs. We have one more asana in our class today. We'll finish with a spinal twist. So move your hips slightly to the left. Then lift your feet off the ground, knees roughly above the hips, shins roughly parallel. Then stretch your arms out to the side. And then drop both legs down to the right side. This is definitely one of those postures that you should just check how it feels. Could be that you want to put a cushion between your knees or under your knees, or change the position of your arms. Play around with it. You could have a completely different adjustment that you make. When you find a version of this spinal twist that feels okay for you, then you can close your eyes down. And again, focus on your breath and focus on the sensations in your body when you're in this shape. Where are the places where you feel maybe a stretch? Where is the flavor of the twist? Where does it feel quite nice as there's a feeling of ease and release? Where do you have no noticeable sensations? On your next inhale, lift one leg at a time. Bring the legs back up again, roll back onto your back. Feet to the ground and move your hips to the right side. Again, lift the feet. As you exhale, both legs come down to the left side. Observing what's going on here, what you feel, making the little adjustments that's going to make it feel better for you. Next inhalation, one by one, the legs come back up to center. And bring your hips back into the middle point. Maybe hug your knees to your chest, rock a bit from side to side. And then from here, you're coming into your comfortable position for Shavasana. For many people, it's legs stretched out to the corners of the mat, arms out, palms up. For some, that feels really uncomfortable, myself included. So I like to have my knees bent, sometimes knees dropping in towards each other. So just find the way to be comfortable. There's no way that has to be. Sometimes people ask, yeah, you give all these possibilities, but what's it supposed to be? It's supposed to be the one that feels right for your body. So that's what we're learning in our yoga practice, to learn more about our bodies, our minds. So you're in a comfortable position. Take a deep breath in. Sigh the breath out. close your eyes. This part of the class is just as important as the parts where we're moving our bodies. It's where your body can rest and recover from what it did over the last hour. Absorbing the practice. And it's creating the space between your practice and the rest of your day. Let your body rest. Let your body soften and release towards the floor. Just for this last couple of minutes, there's nothing that you need to do. Nothing you need to actively think about. Your mind might be thinking about stuff. Let it be like a radio that's been left on in the other room. It's babbling away, but you don't need to pay attention to it. Rest your body, rest your mind. Just let go. Now slowly start to deepen your breath again. Breathing in like you're reaching your breath to every part of your body. You can begin to bring intentional movement back into your body. Move the fingers, the toes. Feel your body, your mind reawaken. Become more and more alert. Completely ready for whatever the rest of your day holds. Open to the possibilities. When you're ready, bend your knees, roll to your side, and then in your own time, come and sit up again. And we'll finish our practice together. Taking a deep breath in, sighing the breath out through the mouth. Take a moment to notice how you feel right now. Physically, mentally, emotionally. And find a kind sentence to say to yourself, just in your own mind, that acknowledges there was time for your practice today. You were able to do the things that you were able to do in the class. And sending a little thank you from you to you. And from me to you, thank you so much for sharing your practice. Have a wonderful rest of your day today. Thank you so much.